Well, first things first. In 1891, there was this dude. His name was Dr. James Naismith. He was a PA teacher who worked in the YMCA. And Buddy was thinking, how do I make class more fun, have a little activity? This dude's a genius. He was like, all right, bet. Let's create a sport. I'm gonna just call it basketball. You know, he what's it called? He created basketball, and everybody. He was in Massachusetts when he did this. Everybody in Massachusetts loved it. They were like, he's a genius. Basketball hit off. And it was really big in the YMCA community. In December 22nd, 1891, in a little humble YMCA gymnasium, the very first basketball game took place. 9 players on each side took the court with one goal. Toss the soccer ball, because they didn't have a basketball, into a peach basket mounted 10 feet in the air. Guess what the first ever final score was? The first final score to that game was 1-0. I would have dropped at least 50, like literally no exaggeration. But hey, whatever you got to do, But yeah, it quickly blew up, and then there was this other amazing dude. We're going 50 years into the future. It is now 1946. This dude comes around. His name is Walter Brown. Very smart dude. And he saw basketball. Man, this is a fun game. Everybody loves it. Let's create the BAA, the Basketball Association of America. And it was pretty much like a little mini NBA. It didn't really last long. It merged with the NBA about 3 years later. And then the first NBA game commenced. The NBA and basketball as a whole quickly gained recognition in America after that. And as most things in the early 1950s, it was predominantly ran by whites and was heavily segregated. You feel me? Until after the 1950 NBA draft, though, the NBA slowly became more integrated, with the first 3 black people to join the league. Lloyd, which was the first black person to play in an NBA game / basketball game. Cooper, which was the first to get drafted. And Clifton, who was the first to sign a contract. Yes. And Clifton was the first to sign a contract. Sorry guys. The NBA quickly became pro-integration and gained a lot of diversity, with a lot of people, especially in the NBA, supporting it, which was surprising. The NBA was a very good community. Whites and blacks were getting along surprisingly very well. And as the NBA gained a huge uprise in America, the rise of future legends also came with it, such as some big names like Wilt Chamberlain, my baby, George Mikan, and my dog Bill Russell, also many more. One of the greatest basketball players of all time, Bill Russell, was also a leader of a civil rights movement. So he not only was one of the greatest basketball players ever, 11 chips, crazy dude. I don't know how tall bro was, but he was tall, a very good player. He was a leader of a civil rights movement, very nice guy. But yeah. So as more and more legends came into the league became better and better with the more integration, more diversity they had. So it started off as a predominantly white team, and it's now mainly, I think, like 60 something, maybe more % black people, and it's even better than it was before. That's just showing you how the NBA really changed America and how they saw blacks, you feel me, as a whole. It really gave blacks something to be proud of, something to have culture, and really changed the hate that black people were getting back in the days, you feel me? And I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to say. I'm gonna pass it on to my dog. Who's next? I'm gonna pass it on to my dog, Ruthus Alabuthus. Take over, my baby.
Basketball is one of the most loved sports in the United States, pulling around 8 million viewers on average. There are many reasons for how basketball and the NBA revolutionized America and even considered global. One reason being just from the love for the players and just the simplicity of the game. People who watch the NBA have favorite teams due to certain players backing behind them. For example, we have Los Angeles Lakers, and there's a bunch of fans for the star players LeBron James and Bronny Jr., or players like Steph Curry from Golden State Bridge. And there are many reasons to like your favorite player due to skill or where they're from. Also, it even helped a bit with desegregation when it was really bad in America. For example, in 1950, when desegregation was starting to happen, the very first African American, called Earl Lloyd, played in the league. Due to that one player, over 70% of the NBA is not even white, and that's only one example. They bring a bunch of new kind of talent, skills, and personalities that makes the people love the game even more and keeps it exciting. And then with stars like Larry Bird or Magic Johnson, always shaking the game up with drawing new fans to keep the game alive. As the NBA learned to market players as the league grew, and they knew how to keep it competitive and had teams be sponsored and financially stable, and disciplined with coaches always offering to guide them. Then we had star players like Michael Jordan, who joined in 1984, who had the ability to connect with their fans and become a global sensation, and players who did not watch the NBA talked about him constantly. And as the game grew, so did the fans and stars whose personalities shaped other people's personalities, and that also meant their fans buying even more merchandise. High-stakes games with rules making it more entertaining drew in more of a younger audience, bringing even more relevance and kept the game lively and just in long-term entertainment. Then we have players like Dennis Rodman, who was personally flown out to Kim Jong-un, the North Korean leader. This just shows how much of an impact the NBA has given to the world. So when players talk about their stories, it will inspire millions of fans, making a cycle of people who aspire to play pro basketball, and then they tell their own story, which also repeats a cycle. And it doesn't make the game repetitive, making the game still feel fresh, allowing the game to stay enjoyable. And if we're talking about the NBA on a global scale, it's even bigger, because in China, when they first saw the first Chinese player in the league, called ONG, they started to also slowly watch the NBA. Due to that one player being different, it brought almost double the NBA fans to them watching games with ONG. People were more and more exposed to players like stars, like Steph Curry or Kevin Durant, that alone was able to spread the game of basketball. So if one player from one state becomes big, it will make a cycle of people to aspire to be like their star, and they become one to tell their own story. And there are 30 teams, with one being in Canada, with their own market in itself. It's a flow of money that allows the NBA to be able to spend absurd amounts of money while maintaining itself while satisfying its fans. And there's enough money for like the Tornado Raptors, which is another team in the league, to be able to live out in Canada, and it just shows the dedication of the fans and the responsibility in the team that lives there. It's one of the fastest rising sports there is, and it brings more and more people to enjoy it in the USA.
NBA, with its rich history, has also been a very big part of America and American sports. The NBA single-handedly revolutionized how American sports are played and how it revolutionized American basketball as a whole.
An example of this is when Steph Curry was brought to the NBA. He changed how people viewed the sport as a whole. The way he shot from the three-point line was something never seen before. His main source of scoring was threes. He was shooting so good he was passing the all-time threes in an NBA career. When he broke the record and ran one of the best dynasties in NBA history, that's when he started a new era for fans across America, which made every NBA fan and sports fans in general start to take inspiration from Stephen Curry. An example of this is before Steph Curry was in the league, there was minimal use for three-point shots unless needed. Now every guard in the NBA or in high school or college ball relies on the three-point shot. Stephen Curry's legacy changed the offense and defense across American basketball. An example of this is high school basketball, middle school basketball, and college basketball, changing the way the American sport basketball is played, forever revolutionizing the game. Another way the NBA revolutionized American sports is the legacy of Kobe Bryant and how his death affected millions of players across America, even people that didn't watch basketball. Kobe was one of the greatest NBA players of all time, revolutionizing basketball for his insane mentality, showing hard work and dedication to the game of basketball and his team, inspiring millions of fans watching at home or at the stadium to see him play. But the biggest thing Kobe was known for was being unstoppable and consistent. Nobody was as consistent as Kobe when it came to going to work. His mentality and fan base he built made him known across different sports in America, which made him revolutionary to American sports, forever changing how people play their favorite sports mentally. Another way that NBA changed American sports is because of the player known as Isaiah. Is a player that is very short for an NBA player. The average player in the NBA is 6'6". He was constantly being doubted because of his height. But when he played on the Celtics, he was averaging close to 29 points per game in a season, showing anyone, no matter who they are or where they come from, they can make it big. This was not only shown in the NBA, but was shown to millions around the US, giving people motivation that they need to be better than the person in front of them, no matter what the advantages or disadvantages are. He revolutionized American sports because of the statement he made across the NBA. These are the main reasons why the NBA has revolutionized American sports and has changed American sports into what they have become today and how. Thank you guys for watching our NBA documentary, the history of the NBA and how the NBA revolutionized American sports. Thank you.